So if every time that you go to choose yourself, put yourself first, or do something for you, and guilt comes up to say hello, this video is exactly for you, because what I'm going to break down is exactly what's happening in your reality, why you might be experiencing guilt, and therefore what to do about it. But also I'm going to talk about the strategies and the tactics that you might have tried and why they might not be working for you. So if guilt is something that you battle with, and I say battle because I battled myself, then this is for you. This whole entire training is for you, okay? Because what a lot of people like you to believe, and what you might believe yourself, is that guilt is your conscience, like this moral compass that you have. And when you're experiencing guilt, you will think that you are being selfish or that you're dropping the ball. Guilt is conditioning. And I explained that in the later part of the video, but I genuinely believe that whenever I was going to choose myself, do something for myself, put myself first, make myself a priority, guilt was like, hey, no. And I thought I was being selfish. So I used to always back down, and I used to see guilt as a massive stop sign. I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that this might be correct, right? Guilt shows up in people most strongly who are reliable, who are capable, who are emotionally in tune with themselves, who have incredibly high standards. And when that happens, I think the thing that I want you to realize, if you said, yes, 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 I am all of those things, you are someone who probably is likely carrying your fair share. You are someone who is always thinking ahead, very hypervigilant, and doesn't want to let anybody down. Now, if I've assumed correctly, you're not alone, because I wrote that for me, based on me. So I've been there. So that when you go to rest, say no, choose yourself in any way, shape, or form, what happens is your system will go on alert, okay? And what will happen is you'll feel this visceral sense of, this doesn't feel right, right? And when your body says this doesn't feel right, it also feels wrong. So you back down and you don't go ahead with what you were going to do, and you don't say yes to yourself, you say yes to somebody else again, and the pattern keeps on repeating. And the analogy that I always love to give, right, because you'll hear me speak about safety a lot in this video, because I hope that I want to change your mind as to what guilt actually is and what's actually happening, is I want you to imagine that we have a thermostat. So if you can imagine in a house, a thermostat's job in any room is to keep the room at the temperature that you set it to. So you set your room to 24 degrees. The job of that thermostat is to keep it exactly at 24 degrees. Set point is 24. If it goes above that, the thermostat brings it down. If it goes below it, it brings it back up, okay? So we all, as human beings, have our own internal thermostat, and the job of that thermostat is to effectively do the same thing. Whatever our set point is where it will want to bring us back to, okay? So, for example, if you have a set of beliefs that, you need to put other people first, and that you need to treat people the way that you like to be treated, that's your internal thermostat. Other people come first, okay? So that's your set point, and it has become your identity and your set of beliefs, and probably your behaviors, right, if you're watching this video. And when you go to do something that is the opposite of that, so when you go to put yourself first, say yes to yourself, say no to someone else, and choose yourself in any way, shape, or form, you set off the internal thermostat where it's like, oh, it kind of goes on like an alarm system. And basically the job of that thermostat is to bring you back down to what you're set to. Put other people first. So that feeling that you get, right, even though that you logically know, this is what I need to do, and this is the action I need to take, but your body is like, hell to the fuck no. Really what we're looking at is, that's your body saying, this doesn't feel safe to me. What feels safe to me is where I'm currently regulated to, okay? So I hope that analogy has helped in terms of what's actually happening, because even though that here's the thing I need to do, here's what I want to do for myself, i.e. I want to put myself first. But then you set off your thermostat because you have a certain set of beliefs that say other people come first. You create this dissonance, right? And in that gap, what happens is, even though you know what action to take, you won't be able to take it, because that's where guilt shows up the most, okay? And guilt's job is to bring you back down to where you're regulated. You might also experience things like self-doubt, or maybe limiting beliefs will rear their ugly head again, and different things will happen in this gap. And the job of this is to bring your thermostat is like, we need to bring you back down to current set point. So there are a couple of tactics, excuse me, that I see a lot of coaches share, and they're not wrong, but they might not be working for you, because all of them are built on the premise that you have safety to take the action, okay? So you are probably told, or have been told, or what you might have already tried is these next 5 or 6 things. You might have tried to reframe it. So people might have told you guilt is a story, change the story. When you change the story, you can change your action. So you're told to think differently and choose a better belief. But you already know that, okay? But the issue as to why that's not working is that your body doesn't believe it yet. And if your body doesn't believe it, now we're in the gap, okay? So you know the action to take, you know the reframe to have, you know the different belief. But if your body is like, yeah, I don't believe that, I'm safe down here, okay? So safety again. Then you might have heard or have tried set better boundaries, just say no more. So be firm, communicate clearer, stop overgiving. But if your system is set to a point where when I feel needed, I also feel safe. When I give to other people, I get something in return. What will happen is when you say no, that will feel like a threat. And the third thing that you're told is to put yourself first. And I can remember hearing this myself. And that self-care isn't selfish. And I think it's the classic thing that we hear. And I've said it myself, okay? But when I look back to the reality of what it was like for me as a chronic people pleaser, basically navigating the world, trying to change up my beliefs and my patterns, what was happening is every single time that I went to put myself first, I faced this internal conflict. I didn't realize at the time, but I was actually being asked to act against my internal wiring, right? Which is why it felt forced. This is why it felt short-lived. Which is why, even though I did the thing, I couldn't feel it. Because as a result of that, what happened is I genuinely thought that by me putting myself first, it meant that other people came last. It became this very much a, if this happens, this can't happen. I didn't realize that both of those things could coincide. So for example, I could put myself first and other people could still, be supported as well. So they're kind of the things that I see show up. And then as a result of that, you might be told to say affirmations and to reset a new belief. Affirmations only work when you feel safe. So if your body feels unsafe, affirmations won't land because your system will reject them. Because it will reject them based on the beliefs that you already currently have and are currently set to. And the last thing I see, unfortunately, time and time again, is to just push through, right? If you just ignore it, it'll go away. But what happens is you end up suppressing all of your emotion. And as a result of that, guilt does not disappear. It will turn into resentment, it will turn into exhaustion, it will turn into numbness. Now, I've rambled around the current strategies that I see, and you'll hear one word come up as to why those strategies might not be working, and it is safety. Most coaching, right, advice that you hear when it comes to guilt is actually you trying to outthink your guilt. But guilt isn't a thinking problem, it's a conditioned safety response. Which is why so many high performers, so many human beings can understand the advice, they can agree with the advice in logic, but still feel horrendous when they're doing it. And what changed for me was I learned that guilt wasn't about values as such, it was about safety. And yes, it is about values, but it was about making sure that you are part of that value-based system as well. Because I was so incredibly good at honouring my values for everybody else, I was just not really the best at honouring them for myself. Because when we think about it, guilt is about safety. Because at some point, usually early, we learn that I'm safe when I'm useful. I'm safe when I'm putting other people first. I'm safe when I don't cause any disruption. So putting yourself first doesn't feel empowering. It can often feel dangerous. And that's why guilt shows up, because your current set point is coming back down. I need you to come back down to where we're currently set. Now, here's what I want to share with you. First things first, your guilt is not proof that you are doing something wrong. It's proof that you've been doing everything for everyone else for a long time and that you haven't done enough for yourself, right? So the bit here in all of this is, as much as you were giving to everybody else, you were just forgetting to give to yourself. So what I want to do, the tactical I want to give you to really help you change up your relationship with guilt, because that's the thing that's going to change it. When you can change your relationship to guilt, and when it comes up, you have a different conversation with it, you ask it different questions, you increase safety, because you increase awareness, and then therefore you get the next step to be able to find more safety to take the next action, right? So when guilt shows up, I want you to stop trying to A, ignore it, B, then you might be asking questions of how do I get rid of it, what's wrong with me, why do I always feel like. The quality of the questions that you ask yourself will determine the quality of the steps that you get to take. Okay? And when you're looking at this, I want you to say to yourself, instead of how do I get rid of guilt, for example, I want you to ask yourself when guilt shows up, what is guilt protecting me from? And what you'll find is, for me, it was like, it's protecting me from letting people down. It's protecting me from feeling vulnerable. It's protecting me from X, Y, and Z. And when you make a list of that, when you acknowledge what comes up as an answer, you are no longer overriding it. You're acknowledging it. You're regulating safety, and you're updating your system, right? You don't need to remove the emotion. You remove its job, right? And that's why that work lands deeper, right? Because it's getting to the truth of what's actually happening for you, right? And the thing that I'll always say, and I say this to myself, is if guilt didn't serve a purpose, it wouldn't be here. And that's the same for doubt or whatever it is that you might be experiencing. So if guilt didn't serve a purpose, it wouldn't still be here. So the purpose it's serving is that it's protecting you. Your job is to find out what it's protecting you from so that you can actually help it feel safe, right? So your job isn't to fight it, it's to understand what it's protecting you from, and your job then is to give it a new experience. So I hope this is helpful for you. The idea here is that you're building a system that finally includes you at the forefront of it all. And if this has helped you, I would love to know your story. I would love to know what resonated with you the most. You can find me on Instagram and basically come and send me a DM there. Just want to know your story and connect. But thank you for listening. And as you move forward with guilt, just know that it's there to protect you, and your job is to help it feel safe.